escolar 26-27. Vamos a empezar nuestra primera junta. Hoy es agosto 20, jueves, y estamos aquí reunidos. Good evening, everybody. We're going to start our first school board meeting of the year for school year 26-27. Today is Thursday, August 20th, and we are here in location, and we're ready to start. Rosie, do we have one more?
Roll call.
Roll call, please.
Lisa,
Here.
Pete, Brianna,
Here.
Carmen,
Here.
Mary Beth, Jamie,
Here.
quorum.
Thank you, Rosie. I'd like to welcome our high school student on her first meeting. Thank you for being here, and we wish you just the best. And please chime in, give us any feedback, anything you think that we could help you students. Please always feel free to speak up. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
And now we will stand up, and if you would lead us with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Now I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
I'll second.
Thank you.
All
right,
in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say no. Passes 5+1.
Okay, first item of business is our spotlights of the Coastway. Dr. Miramontes?
Yeah, I'd like to welcome everybody back to the 26-27 school year. And I'd like our Chief Academic Officer, Israel Castillo, to share the great news and celebrate our success. Mr. Castillo.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. First of all, I want to take a moment to express our sincere appreciation for everyone who served during our summer school. I know that takes some time away from their lovely vacation with their family and loved ones. But at the same time, I want to recognize that Mr. Jones was overseeing that, and he stated that the one thing that stood out for him was that everybody showed up. All the staff members were happy. They gave their hearts and took ownership of the students. They didn't complain. They were champions, and they simply did what they had to do to take care of the students, and the families were very grateful for that. So I know you can't see it, but if anybody is here present, I know they had a long day of teaching because we have a majority of our summer staff that is also teaching, so not sure if they made it. I know David had other compromises tonight, so wasn't able to make it either. But is anybody here from summer school? No, nobody's here. So
Let's give a big round of applause, though.
the next group that we want to recognize, as we begin the school year, sometimes we don't realize all the amount of work and the coordination that takes place, the movement, the reorganization. So this gives us a moment and an opportunity to recognize our custodial, our maintenance, our transportation team for all the hard work they do behind the scenes to get the school ready for the kids, for the staff, everything that takes place. And sometimes we're not aware of all the amount of items that they have to complete on a timely manner. We always prepare for the return of students, making sure they have a safe environment. So with that, I would like to recognize also the facilities for completing all the needed repairs, ensuring that the buses are running, the transportation, the schools are cleaned. There is a tremendous amount of work that goes into the preparation of the new school academic year. Not to mention with all the construction going on, it limits the time and the amount of time to complete specific projects. And also with summer school going on, it limits you with how much manpower you can put to a specific area. So with that said, we'd like to thank this team. And if I know I see some of the team here, if you can come up for a quick picture and a big round of applause.
Buenas tardes y muchas gracias. Thank you, everybody. You guys have a good evening. Moving on, Israel.
Yes, we'll continue. I have two individuals from our department that I would also like to recognize. The first one is Deanna. She's not here, but she has been doing an exceptional job. She's working as our educational service department. Exemplary organization skills, knowledge, internals, and the way she approaches her work it's very great strengths and abilities to communicate with everybody to ensure that the students are receiving the appropriate teaching and learning. I like to recognize her for collaborative work that she does, both with teachers, site leaders, and keeping students at center with every decision that we make. I know she's not here today, but a big round of applause for her. And the second individual in my team is Josefina Infanzon. She is our administrative assistant. She keeps us all in line, makes sure that we are on top of our tasks. She is constantly supportive, dependable, and proactive in finding ways to strengthen communication. Josefina is a true go-getter. When she doesn't have an answer, she takes the initiative and finds the right person to gather that information and support the team. Her ability to anticipate the needs, follow through, and take tasks is very incredible, and that's what makes our department amazing. Congratulations to Josefina, if you'd like to come up.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, sorry, getting comfortable.
Thank you, Josefina, and thank you for being here tonight. Would you like to continue, Israel?
And today I also have the honor of going over some of our educational service department organizational structures. So this is an opportunity to take a look at the reorganization. It's really about one thing: how do we organize ourselves as a department so that we can better serve our students, our staff, our families, and most importantly, our community. We move forward and we intentionally organize educational services around three primary areas of focus, which is curriculum and instruction, special education, and student services. Each of these areas has a distinct responsibility, an area of expertise, but they are not separate in silos. They are interconnected parts of our educational service team. So our main goal is to strengthen collaboration and improve efficiency and integrate the supports that we offer all our students. Slide 2. Yeah, thank you. Why the department reshuffle? Basically, it's a reshuffle. I'll go over the two positions that are new, but mostly, for the most part, most of the staff already was there, but it was under different departments. So we reshuffled, and basically there are three primary reasons for the restructure. The first one is strengthening and collaboration. We want clear roles and stronger coordination between instructional programs, student support services, and compliance and responsibilities. The needs of our students don't fit nearly into one department, so our organizational structure shouldn't either. The second reason is improving efficiency. We want to make sure that planning, communication, data, and operational decisions making are connected rather than multiple people or departments working on similar issues independently. We want to create a coordinated approach. And the third is increasing school support. Ultimately, the Educational Service Department exists to support our schools. We are not there to support ourselves, but to see how we can support schools, teachers, and our students. We want our principals, teachers, counselors, special educational staff, and students and families to know where to go for the supports. And the experience that we provide is to coordinate amongst our families to ensure that the students have a straight route in a bright future. This is not about creating more layers. It's about creating greater clarity, coordination, and accountability. Slide 3, please. This slide represents the framework behind the organizational structure. Although you see different areas and responsibilities, the work ultimately comes together around the district's strategic priorities. We have three functional areas that we work together. One thing that I did want to mention on the third column, one of the new positions that we do have, and not to say that it's new because it's a position that was not filled, but I want to make sure that it's clear that we're not using general fund for that. It's a combination of CTE funding, SSPDBG, which stands for Student Support and Professional Discretionary Block Grant, and also some LCAP funding. So that's one of the positions, which is the Director of Student Services. And the reason we did this is because Mr. Barnes, who did a great job last year, I was in his shoes before, but without the role as the Director of Student Services. And let me tell you, the amount of time that we spend just reading one IEP can take you about 3 to 4 hours if you wanted to read it in detail and have that support and evidence needed when you're facing legal. Some of the IEPs are very thick. So I give Mr. Barnes a lot of credit for last year for being able to juggle between being able to oversee both departments, student services, and also special educational services. The other position that is also new is the Math TOSA, which is in the middle column. And that one, we're funding it through the LCAP. Basically, what we had last year as we were piloting is we were having ongoing meetings with the County Office of Education. We probably had a total of 12 meetings during all the discussions and interactions with the county. One of the priorities that was always brought to our attention by the teaching staff and also by the county is that you can't roll out a new program after you pilot without having that support. That professional development piece is key to what's going to happen with that adopted curriculum in the next 3-4 years. And not to just mention that, but this new math curriculum, the way you are doing math is very different nowadays, and we might be a little behind with the mathematical practices. There's many more than just one way to get the right answer. And Dr. Miramontes and I had the privilege of going to some of the classrooms, and we actually saw some of the teachers in action where they were asking the students, okay, that's one way you got the answer. Who has another way? Another student shared the way they were getting the right answer. Very different, but they all had the right answer following different. All our brains are very different, so they get an opportunity to explain their thinking, their process, how they got to the answer. So it was nice to see teachers engage and already implementing the way teaching and learning should be. It's very different for every learner. Let's see. Next slide, please. Slide 4. Our organizational structure is also intentionally aligned with the District 4 LCAP goals, which are academic improvement, equity, whole child, and district sustainability. These goals require all three components of educational service to work together. For example, academic improvement is solemnly the responsibility of curriculum and instruction. If a student is struggling academically, we may need instructional intervention. We may also need to understand attendance, social, emotional needs, English learner support, special education needs, or other barriers that may be preventing the child from assessing the instructional curriculum. Our organizational structure is designed to reflect the reality. Next slide, please. As I mentioned earlier, working with the county, not just for the math adoption, but we're also looking at the dashboard. The dashboard is the website that gives us our results for the state. While we're looking at the dashboard, we were identified for differentiated assistance, which is DA, and this year also with differentiated technical assistance, DTA. To provide a little bit more context, our California School Dashboard results have identified areas where we need to improve, including pupil achievement, the broad course of study, chronic absenteeism, and school climate. We are also receiving differentiated assistance and technical assistance in several of the areas. These challenges cannot be addressed by one person or one department. For example, if we are addressing chronic absenteeism, student services has an important leadership role, but attendance affects instructional access, academic achievement, graduation, and ultimately our students' ability to succeed. Similarly, when we look at our achievement gaps for English learners and students with disabilities, in socioeconomically disadvantaged students, we need curriculum and instruction, special education, and student service working together as a team. The organizational structure is therefore directly connected to our improvement work. We are organizing ourselves for the situational decisions and discrepancies that are evident with our data. Next slide, please. My role as the Chief Academic Officer is to provide coordination and connection within various issues across, provide executive leadership for instructional programs and support systems, and I'm responsible for the continuous improvement across educational services. That includes instructional leadership, strategic planning for the LCAP, and this year we're going to start rewriting the new LCAP for the following 3 years. Curriculum assessment, categorical programs, educational technology, professional learning, grants, compliance, board policies, budget oversight, and cross-department curriculum. But emphasize something very important. My role is to ensure that we are all working collaboratively and prioritizing the alignment to make sure that we are looking at all students' needs. Next slide, please. Special education, this is James who is here, and I'll have them come up in a little bit to share some of their priorities for this year. But in this role, Special education provides leadership for programs and services for students with disabilities with a focus on access, inclusivity, and legal compliance. There's a variety of intentional focus here for the 26-27, increasing district capacity and providing more focused support for our students with special needs. That includes program oversight for IEP compliance, offer of FAPE, inclusive practices, always focusing on the least restrictive environment, related services, staffing, professional development, and fiscal stewardship. And again, special education does not operate independently from curriculum and instruction and student services. For example, inclusive practices require instructional alignment. The student behavior may be requiring coordination with MTSS or counseling. Attendance or engagement may involve special education and student services. Next slide, please. Curriculum and instruction, which is Deanna, but she wasn't able to make it today. But here we realized that she had a big role in regards to the rollout of the math curriculum, and she did a wonderful job. And she was very observant of what the needs were. When piloting, she kept on hearing the needs that the pilot team was telling her, we can't do it without a TOSA, prioritize a TOSA, and she kept on bringing it to us in cabinet that, hey, TOSA is something that is going to be needed to support. And the great thing is that we've seen Molly in action already. She's visiting classrooms since day one. She's not stuck at the district office. She's basically collaborating. Today she went to Hatch, and I before the meeting, I saw 3 of our immersion teachers, and they said, Molly's great. She was with us today, and she was modeling some lessons. So she's rolling up her sleeves. She's really supporting teachers, and she's working collaboratively with Innova Math to make sure that she has those specific skill sets because she's coming straight from the classroom, and it does require some shadowing of people that have done the coaching aspect of the work for many years. Deanna always also focuses on coherent implementation of the adoption curriculum and the teacher support. Curriculum implementation and adoption, professional learning, including training, coaching, and teacher supports, assessments and implementation. And that's something that we're going to work on this year. We don't have district benchmarks throughout all our sites, so we've got to make sure that we have some local assessments instead of waiting till the state assessments come out, because by then it's too late. So we need some more ongoing assessments that we can monitor and progress monitor as we're progressing. Next slide, please. And for this student service priorities, is focused on the conditions that support students' ability to attend school. When we met with the county in regards to DA and DTA, one of the main things that was highlighted is the attendance. How do we improve in our attendance? If students are not in the hot seat, they can't learn. No matter how well we're teaching or how well we're assessing or monitoring, they need to be in the hot seat. So that's one of the priorities that Andy will be working on this year, and which includes also chronic absenteeism, MTSS, and counseling, power school system, CalPads, student data quality, school safety, discipline, alternative education, school climate, PBIS, foster youth, McKinney-Vento, Section 504s, health, counseling, wellness, college and career readiness, and community partnership. And with that also comes summer school. Summer school is another big item that also is in that role. One of the important shifts here is that we are looking at the responsibilities as part of a connected student support system. For example, attendance is not just an attendance issue. Sometimes chronic absenteeism that impacts instructional access. It's getting to the bottom. He'll be working with our home liaisons to identify the needs. There sometimes might be family needs that need to be identified before the students can attend school. It's not that they're refusing to attend school, but every situation is different and very special. So there's potential for that social work aspect, and that's why student services must closely connect also with curriculum and instruction and special education. So we're all interconnected. At this point, I'll let Mr. Barnes and Andy come up and share some of their priorities for this year.
You want to go first, James?
Sure, I'll go first. Good evening, Dr. Miramontes and Governing Board. My name is James Barnes. And for the past 4 years, I've been in student services. And then this last year, I also took on special education for the district. And I think it was Israel mentioned, it's a lot. So you saw all the responsibilities for student services just now and the responsibilities for special education. In a small shop, that's a lot for any one person to manage. And it's been really, really great to have Andy Boysen here coming in as the student services director. That's going to mean a couple of things. One is I can work closely with him to hand over all of that responsibility so that we have a very smooth transition and he's not just coming in like, with a computer in an empty room and trying to figure it out on his own, which is really great. The part for me is it now frees me to be very, very closely focused on the needs of our students with IEPs. So our special education department, we have administrative assistants, and we also have a coordinator, Erin Taft, who is a school psychologist. So her knowledge and understanding of the IEP process is very, very fine. So I'm able to spend a lot of time on the priorities we talked about. Compliance, making sure that we are following a federal and state law on the IEP process, because that's very, very important. If you make missteps, procedural errors, those can generate complaints, generate legal filings, and potential great costs for the district. So the financial responsibility in special ed is huge, because the cost, for instance, of a student to attend a private or non-public school because they've been found that we can't serve them, and sometimes that's legitimate. Sometimes it's because they want it and we've made perhaps errors. That's something we can't allow. But it costs hundreds of thousands of dollars, altogether millions that could otherwise be serving our students here that we're paying out to private or non-public schools. And so my job is to make sure that we're doing everything correctly, having IEPs that are serving the students, addressing their goals, their needs, their disabilities, and are legally compliant. And now, I'm able to go up into the schools every day. I have a whole schedule. I've been up at the high school today. We're working on making sure our caseloads are working properly, that all the students have a case manager, and that we're following both the law and, again, tailoring the needs of the kids to the people who can serve them the best. So that's been very, very important, and I'm really glad to be able to be there. I also have been spending a lot of time with our special education law firm, because there always are cases coming up where people have either filed lawsuits or we're trying to avoid that, and we're in mediation and we're trying to negotiate with them what they need and show that we can actually serve their needs. And so the whole process from start to finish of identifying a student with disabilities, figuring out what their needs are, what the goals that they need to accomplish, to come up to grade level and achieve well in our schools, all that, it lays the groundwork for, if we have any kind of disputes, that we can show that our district can provide for our students, that we are able to serve the needs of our students and therefore avoid, again, on the back end, then, all those very high financial costs to the district. So that's what I'm concentrating on, and making sure our students are in the least restrictive environment, meaning, we want to support them and give them choices, not make it harder for them to participate with the other students in general education. Serving them, serving the district, reducing costs, and making sure that we are legally compliant. And that's what I'm able to do in a much more concentrated way. So thank you.
Good evening, Dr. Miramontes and Governing Board. It is a pleasure to continue to serve Cabrillo Unified School District in a different capacity in my 27th year here. So it's a wonderful thing. And just to continue to grow and, again, try to provide the best for our families and our students. As Mr. Castillo said, our three divisions under educational services involve an interaction as part of a holistic approach to serving our families and students. Particularly, though, for student services, it's an equity focus and a whole child focus if we look at the LCAP goals. Fair practices, safe schools, layers of support, social emotional learning support, and family engagement. And if we can handle those things to help create an environment, an atmosphere, a culture on our campuses, it will lead to better academic outcomes and better sense of well-being for our students. So one of my key goals and mission that I have to achieve, as Mr. Castillo noted, is trying to deal with our chronic absenteeism. And it's a big issue. However, we need to get our non-attending students back in the classroom. If they're not in the classroom, they're not having the education that they deserve and not having the social emotional supports and the socialization of being around their peers and being mentored by our wonderful educators in the classroom and around our different school sites. So part of it, yes, have to follow county protocols, send home notices when their absences reach a certain level, have meetings, have parents and students sign contracts, and eventually if we have to get to the point where we have the SAR process, the School Attendance Review Board, that's one side of it. The other side is why is the student or are the students not coming to school? And that could be a myriad of different things. And as, again, Mr. Castillo noted, so much relates to one's home life, medical or psychological conditions, socioeconomic disadvantages. Many different things can contribute to a student not attending school, not just because they're refusing to do so, because they don't want to be there. However, I hope to leverage our attendance clerks, community liaisons, our school resource officer, school and mental health counselors to target intervention while also continuing to build our teachers' capacity for providing daily Tier 1 relationship building. And that is the most important aspect. As you see, our teachers are with our students every day. And if you think of MTSS, it has that pyramid where you have level 1, level 2, level 3. Level 1 is that day-to-day interaction. How can you create a climate for our students to thrive? And if our students have more challenges, then we have Tier 2, Tier 3 levels in which we need to really target and support them in specific ways, maybe not only by our educators and our professionals and our, mental health staff, but also involving our community partners, both with the district office and other, we'll say, agencies that help support our families and our students within the county. So I want to create systems and teams, and to some degree they already exist, but there's some refinement, some updating that needs to happen to promote engagement by fostering student and family sense of belonging and connectedness. And that was in our SIPSA goal at the high school last year, and it's also similar at Cunha with their SIPSA goal as well. How can we create that belonging, connectedness, and a sense of safety, a sense of wanting to be at school and thriving and enjoying and looking forward to it? So these systems and teams will redouble our efforts to achieve these goals through MTSS, multiple tier systems of support, PBIS, positive behavior interventions and support, trauma-informed practices, and restorative practices. These are all things, again, to really figure out how can we serve every student in their own individual way and need. So I want to update and solidify our approaches to risk and threat assessments as well. working closely with our county partners, law enforcement, our school staff to make sure if a student is a threat to themselves or perhaps possibly a threat to others, that we follow the protocols and get the proper and necessary assistance for those students and their families. So lastly, working with student study teams and 504s as well to refine those processes a bit, get them smooth, get our documentation and our compliance tighter and in place. And lastly, safety is part of the job, in addition to a few curriculum things that Mr. Castillo has noted as well. So just thinking of the whole child, and the whole child is not all about academics, although it is a key point. The other half is how do we help support the academic performance with the personal well-being of our students. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Are you still going to go? I'm sorry.
Yeah, and we'd like to end with a very heartwarming thank you to the board for your approval under the consent items back in June. I think this is a very important position, and I'm very thankful that you also acknowledge this position and the importance of this position, because I think we're going to be able to collaborate and do a lot more for our district, for our kids, for everybody in the school side. So thank you very much I acknowledge that and thank you guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Israel. And I also want to, I just want to thank how efficient we're using our experienced staff. And Mr. Boysen, you are, it's going to be interesting, but you have the heart, you have the experience, you have been a teacher, a parent, a principal. Not speaking to your too, Mr. James. You have the heart, definitely the experience. So it's so exciting to see this. I'm like, I don't want to cry, but I'm like so happy and so excited, because it's about time that we kind of get in there and see what we need to do and how we can support the kids, and not just the kids who come, but the ones that don't come, the ones that we have no idea. And like you gentlemen just mentioned, there's more than just them not being able to just get up and come. There's some serious issues, and we want to support them and talk about, it takes a village. This is the perfect example of how we as a village, as a community, are trying to, help bring up all of our students, and it's just going to improve our community and help us thrive better. So thank you so much. I'm like, thank you. Yeah, no, I'm done. Oh, wait, before I'm done too, just a little, if anybody needs to use the restroom, it's back here. So thank you for being here, the public, thank you for being here. And if you guys need to use the restroom, it's right here.
I want to thank you all for this presentation. I think it was very well done and very thorough, and a very good understanding of everyone's roles and why they were created. I am still of that, this is my 9th year as a parent in the district, and I still have this mindset that it's hard to see growth in the district office when there are filled classrooms at capacity. We've let reduce teachers. And so though I am excited about this opportunity and these roles and what they can do, I would love to see at the end of the year, like some of the things that were mentioned. So chronic absenteeism. We went into the school year with X amount of students falling under chronic absenteeism. What is the number at the end of the year once these protocols, this intervention, the services have been put in place? Increasing, how are we going to measure, and can we see that increasing belonging at school? I know at Cunha, the kids do a survey, maybe at the high school too, seeing that beginning and end. Now that I just think it would be good for our community, for us to see that whether it's general fund or grant money, because we know that grant money can use for various things, when we are putting roles, that whether they are replacing a role that may have existed before or it's a new role, to see on paper what that role has done for our district. I think that shows a good argument.
Yeah, we'll prepare a presentation with some data. We'll work collaboratively.
And I think that's a great point, and I agree with what Brianna says. But I also feel like it's so important for this to just start to roll out. And she's absolutely right. We need to do things better, but we also need to be effective and efficient, and how we collaborate, spend our money, and whatnot. So I know from the time that this was presented last board meeting, to see if it would pass. I've been on you, Dr. Miramontes, asking you, when are we going to see this? Who's doing that? We need to start doing this. So this is so exciting. And like I said earlier today, there's going to be trial and errors, and I'm very confident you guys will do a great job.
Thank you for your presentations. Building off a little bit of what Brianna said, it is a sensitive issue because we do have, currently we have situations where we have classrooms of 30 plus kids. And so it's a fair question to say, should we be guiding resources to the district office when we have these situations, especially at a struggling school like Hatch? But I do support this. I think I could speak for everybody on the board that we were all united in that we wanted to make sure that Dr. Miramontes had the team in place that he wanted in order to do the job. And that's kind of how I see this. But it is important to recognize that every time we add a position at the district office, we're going to get that pushback, and that's healthy. And so it's beholden on this team here to make sure that they do a good job so that we can justify those decisions. I have a couple questions. So there's 2 new positions, and I just wanted to make sure if you could clarify how those were funded. So if I'm reading the packet correctly, and then I heard your presentation, they're not funded out of the general fund. They're funded from a variety of sources.
That's correct. We have some CTE funding, LCAP, and then the Student Support Professional Development Discretionary Block Grant.
And summer school.
And summer school, which the discretionary grant, I believe we're getting 2.1 million?
1.2 million.
No, 2.1.
2.0 more.
Yeah.
Even better, Jennifer. You're already better at what you do. Brought another $1 million in from this morning to this afternoon. Thank you. Oh no, let me just clarify some of these things. Right, the positions aren't for the district office. The positions are at the district office to support the school sites. Right, we're in this chronic absenteeism because we're piecemealing things together. Right, so we have to have these services out there. And again, last year, I put this in my LCAP, not my LCAP goals. It's part of the LCAP, but I put it on when I met with the board. These are my goals. These are our board goals. This is what I'm going to be held accountable for, right? We're going to improve we're going to decrease chronic absenteeism. It starts with me, right? And I want to, again, the increase at 5%, whatever percentage was, 4 or 5%. I want to fail forward. I don't want. It's easy to say we're going to grow academic by 1%. Right? I want to go a little bit deeper. I want to push harder. I want to fail forward. So these positions, although they may be at the district office, the expectation is Nanny's going to be with counselors, home community liaisons, knocking on doors. How can we help you? We notice you haven't been here in 3 years. We have kids that haven't been here in 3 years, guys. That's a problem, right? And so one of the other things that we have in our LCAP goal is district sustainability. I will not add positions to and we've had conversations. Do we do more classrooms, lower class size? I look at these things every day with Leah. With Andy, we look at our class, and I shared with 2 of the board members today. We looked at the numbers. There isn't one, I think there are 2 classrooms at Hatch School that have plus 30. Everybody is below 30. We looked at the high school average, with the exception of the social studies, because I think they do freshman life skills. They're the only ones that are over 30. Now, you may have a class of 34, but you might have a class of 22, and that's just the master schedule. But the average classes, we have gone through them tooth and nail. And when we present, one of the recommendations that I'm giving, or the directives I'm giving to the school sites, is when they present, I want to see the class averages, because that's what everybody hears. I hear that this is happening. We're not even close to 32, 33, 34, 35. We're not. There are a few classrooms that are a little bit larger, 33, but you can balance those out. The hard thing is you expect this many kids and not that many kids show up. And I'll use Hatch for example. I think it's 28, 27, or 29, 27, and 33. You could take 3 kids out of that class and balance out that 4 or 5 combo and provide a more equitable balance. But kids are already involved in that class. It's hard to pull them out after the first day. Once they get hooked in, they're hooked in. And that's how it should be, as Andy pointed out. So I will make sure that when we look at, and again, that's one of the goals, fiscal stability, district sustainability is one of my goals, and I'm going to hold Jennifer to. I'm going to hold Leah to, because it starts with staffing. That's our biggest piece. So when we add positions, we have to be creative. We don't have a lot of money. Oh, my battery went out. We don't have, well, we have money, but I want to make sure we use the money wisely. Our TOSA was probably the best position that we've ever, that I believe, because they're directly working with teachers. If we want teachers to improve, we've got to support our teachers. And that was an easy no-brainer when the pilot team came to Deanna came to cabinet, and she said, this is what they're looking for. I've rolled out curriculum. I've rolled out language arts. I've rolled out math curriculum. You have to have a champion there. Principals have too much work to do. They've got to be the instructional leaders as well. They've got to walk in and say, yep, it has to happen. But we also need to make sure we're guiding, supporting teachers. So we're going to continue to watch the numbers, right? Special ed numbers, TKK, because every grade level has a different compliance piece. We're watching those numbers first 10 days, and then our principals are also communicating with us. But I haven't seen a class, I think here at the middle school, the highest class is 31, average that is, and I believe that's Mrs. Manning, the math class. Again, I look at these things every single day. We go back and forth, and we're going to again, we're going to make sure that we might have a peak come in after Labor Day. Sometimes you see more kids come back after the real summer ends, right, Labor Day. But we'll work through that. But I do appreciate the board. In the board packet, I know that through the Monday memo and also on the consent item when we had this position available, it does say where the funding streams are coming from. So I just want to make sure the board reviews those because it was their summer school, and Jennifer reminded me that today. It was summer school. It was LCAP, but the LCAP comes from the whole child, which is one of the goals in the LCAP. The third one was the block grant, and the last one was CTE, because we've got to build our CTE program. That's where the money is, and that's where the engagement is with kids. Sean Reardon, Frank Vella, our ag department, our kids are loving that stuff, right? And their A through G required classes are approved classes as well. Any other questions for the gentleman here?
Yeah, I have some more. And I just want to comment on that. I do support the goals and I support these changes, but I also want to say that if I'm the parent of a kid who's in a classroom of 33 kids, I'm not interested in what the average is. I'm interested in the fact that my kid is in a classroom of 33 kids and it's chaos. And I think we need to be sensitive to that. That's all. So a couple other questions. Pay attention to what Dr. Miramonte said. Are the non-school site, all the non-school site positions filled, or do we have any that are open in terms of your team?
I don't understand the question.
Are your teams full in terms of?
We'll have a vacancy. We have a person who's leaving and moving on, and we're replacing the positions. That one will be, and everybody else. I don't think there's any other new position. There aren't any new other positions, but there are different people in different roles. Patricia, who was at Cunha here, Tricia left here as the admin assistant here, and is now always has been the secretary for student services and Pilarcitos. So she has a dual role, 0.5 and 0.5. So that is not a new position. That is an existing position. And for classified staff, it's great because they do move, and we want them to take advantage of other opportunities there are. Some people move from cafeteria and the paraeducators into community liaisons. We've had that. So yeah, that we don't, and then we have the district office central community liaison at the front desk. That one's not filled yet. That's under our department, superintendent's office.
And also the student data system, that position's on adjoint too right now. It's that individual's leaving. Tomorrow's the last day, actually.
And then, James, could you help me understand staffing around SPED in terms of the faculty, the teachers that are involved, and maybe unpack that a little bit and help us understand how that works?
Could you clarify your question a little bit?
Yeah,
how it
so
works?
I'm just trying to understand, I got the structure of the team, but in terms of what does it look like on the ground? Are we hiring specific faculty for that? Are we incorporating that special ed curriculum into the regular classrooms? If you could unpack that, please.
It works in a number of different ways. So we have, like for instance, you'll have one teacher at the secondary schools maybe pushing into a classroom, into a general ed classroom to support students in there who have IEPs. There are also classes that are designed just for special ed students, like for instance, a foundational math class for students that need really a lot of good support from a qualified special ed teacher. So you get that kind of thing as well. And then there are support classes where the students come in and it's not a specific curriculum, but they're there to help them with all aspects of their work and teach them skills and support and so on. So we have that model. In the elementary schools, it tends to be they push in or they pull kids out for small groups or for part of their day for special services. In the secondary schools, many of our teachers, they're teaching all day long, whether that's in a subject area class, like a special English class or special math class, or a support class like that as well as pushing in or team teaching with a general ed teacher. So that's kind of how it works across the district.
And then are we fully staffed in that area in terms of those teachers?
That's a Leah question. She can probably talk a little bit about that. Leah, would you mind? I know I think we have got 4 positions that were for certificated.
So special ed credentialing is different than regular ed credentialing. The California Commission on Teacher Credentialing issues an educational specialist instructional credential. And then there's mild to moderate, extensive needs, the early childhood special education, and various other authorizations for autism. So it is specialized recruiting to meet our needs. We had at the beginning of the hiring season, we had 2 SDC teachers and 2 RSP teachers. So that is a mod severe credential and mild moderate. We have filled 2 with employees. A third one is onboarding, and we have 1 that we are filling with a contract. Many of these were contract employees last year, and so we are making it our priority to hire employees and not pay contract rates. I'm very pleased with my team. I think we're at 3 out of 4, but we are continuing to recruit. So I want to say we are filled, but they haven't quite yet arrived in the classroom. But we do have substitute support in those classrooms, and I did request additional para support and eyes from our SPED team.
So I understand that totally makes sense, that's a sort of a continual challenge to find the candidates that have the credentialing and the talents that we need. Is this year different than other years?
You know,
Can I answer that?
Yeah, please.
I'm going to say this year was actually better than other years.
Okay, great.
Right. I last year when I first came on, we talked about 5 different speech language pathologist contracts that we had at about $180,000 to $200,000. Right, and that's a lot of money. Mm-hmm. Right, and so. Give a lot of credit to Leah. She actually drove up to Cal State East Bay a couple of times, Monterey a couple of times. We recruited 3 of the 5 positions. Yeah. So and one was a contracted person that wanted to come work for us, loved the community, I think has a child here, loves the place. And we've got 2 newbies that are just out of the profession, so it's fantastic. And we have 2 on contract, 1 bilingual. It's tough to find a bilingual speech language pathologist, right? But you need one because we've got students that are bilingual that need that language support. And then as far as the other ones, it's hard to find. These are a preschool person that's preschool. Most of these schools have a preschool, a BA, because most people have early childhood units, but have a BA, an early childhood BA, a credential for special education. And a licensing for preschool as well. Yeah. So those are tough ones to find. Those are unicorns. We were hoping that the person that was there last year would stay on board, but she has family in Washington and want to move back home, right? And so I think that's probably the toughest position. But we also have found out that there are some of our paraeducators that work in there are fantastic. So we need to figure out, and I know Leah's been fantastic with working with Grand Canyon, how do we get these kids into programs And again, home grow them, right? I mean, there's one that everybody said, we got to help this guy get across the finish line, get him through school, get him credentialed, because he's just a natural teacher there. And I know that she's identified that as well. So it's been a better year than last. And I feel super confident in what's happening. And these open positions, these contracts can end at any time. It's a 30-day notice. So if we get people that graduate at the semester, we're going to go out the semester to try and bring them on board.
Great. Thank you. And then one final question. I would like to know more a little bit about the, what did you call it? The differentiated assistance and the differentiated technical assistance. That's the first time I've heard of it when I looked at the board packet. And I just want to know a little bit more about that. And then does that come with funding?
No, unfortunately, there's no funding. Basically, what it is if you're not implementing specific, for example, we just adopted the math curriculum. If we're not using it with fidelity, that's one of the first things that they focus on. What's going on with your first tier 1 instruction? Is it effective? How can we support you? So basically, it's support from the county, but now for DTA, the state is looking at the county to make sure that they are offering the supports. So basically, we've been in a DA for the last 3 years. Sometimes it's actually been some of the similar groups: English learners, students with disabilities, low socioeconomically disadvantaged students. I included some information. I'll send it in the Monday memo, but there's a lot more detail that I can provide to provide some clarity of what shifted us from DA to DTA.
And I've never worked for a district that had that, so this is due to be also, right? But I've got some colleagues of mine that work at the state level that are helping us through. Again, I'm very confident that we're going to get out of DTA and DA in the next year or so. Very, very confident.
I just wanted to comment that I really like what you said about the district office being, the district office, that the whole, we shouldn't be separate. The district office isn't separate. The whole idea of it is to support our students and support our staff. So the whole district office thing, we're all one, we're all supporting each other. And I can say that in my 8 years on the board that I have seen this position come and go, and it is too much work for one person. And I don't think if we don't have it, we're not serving our students, we're not serving our staff, and it opens us up to a lot of legal liabilities. So I'm happy to see that it's back. I've seen people trying to do both of it, and it's impossible. It's just too much of a workload. And if we don't have it, we're not serving anyone as we should be.
Thank you.
Anyone else? No, you're okay. All right, moving on to, thank you, gentlemen. Moving on to the next item, 2C, Student Board Member Report. And I'd like to once again introduce Jamie Mateo. Okay. Yes. Jamie Mateo, welcome. We're really happy to have you here. It's so important for you to speak up and let us know as a student your perspectives, your needs, anything we could support you, because we're here for you. So thank you, and thank you for being here tonight. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm Jamie Mateo. I am a junior at Half Moon Bay High School. I am part of the leadership class. I was the sophomore class president. Last year, I play sports year-round, so I'm part of the cross-country team, soccer team, and track team. I've been a captain on all 3 of those teams, and, I take pride in my academics and just try to stay very involved in the school. So being here to, represent my student body is such an honor for me, and, I'm very excited to be here. Just to, report out for the beginning of the year, I think I've definitely checked in with some of the freshmen, and they seem to be settling in well. Something that a few of them have told me is that they get kind of freaked out that there's a red status light on our water fountains. And I think I've brought this up a couple times to a few people, and they're just like, yeah, it just can't really be changed to green even if the filter is clean. But that's just something that I think I've heard from some of the people who haven't been at the high school for a while. But otherwise, we have all of our fall sports starting. We have our first football scrimmage tomorrow night. Not sure who it's against. I think it's like a tri-school thing. But we also have water polo, boys and girls water polo, boys and girls cross country, girls flag football, girls golf, girls tennis. Pretty sure that's it for sports.
Any pickleball teams there at all?
No pickleball yet.
I've got a bunch of coaches here that may want to join.
Yeah, maybe. I'm sure if we had it, people would join it. I love pickleball. But yeah, and then in leadership, we have a welcome back assembly next week, and then we're really going to start ramping up our planning for the homecoming dance and all the festivities leading up to that. So if anyone has been to homecoming week in the past, we have the giant relay, which is usually a couple days before the dance. And I would love to invite all of the board members to come and join us once we have some more dates nailed down, just because it's such a fun time for all of our students and staff, and like such a moment of pride in our community. And it takes a lot to pull it off, but it's so much fun. But yeah, our dance is going to be on October 10th, and we're still nailing down some of the details, like where it's going to be, what the theme is, all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think it's been a little bit of a hectic start to this school year. I'm sure many people know. I mean, it's definitely been very crazy for myself, but I think we're like a strong student body and we like to bounce back from things. So yeah, I don't know. I think everyone's still excited. Everyone's still settling in from our summer routines, but I think it's going to be a good year. So thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you, Jamie. And welcome once again. We also have not yet been appointed, but we also will have a Pilarcitos High School student board member. So that is to come hopefully next board meeting. Moving on to item 3, general business. And there's a presentation. Dr. Miramontes?
Yes, thank you, President Cortez. Tonight, the board will receive a bond construction update from Drew Gammett and Roger, I apologize, and Char of Veneer Construction. The report covers summer work at Fairlawn View, Kings Mountain, Hatch, El Granada, along with the Half Moon Bay High School fire lane upgrades and the leaseback contractor selection. This item is informational, and the staff is available for any questions. Drew?
Yes, Board President Cortez, members of the Board of Education, Superintendent Miramontes, thank you for this opportunity to address you tonight. We're going to go over we've had a very, very busy summer. We've had some successes and some exciting things happen. We've had some things that have been very frustrating, but we're going to bring it all to you tonight and for your review. So going on first, the other thing I would just like to give as a caveat is we moved really fast, and unfortunately the timing for which we need to submit board items and the photos that are available, even a week and a half is a bit of a delay for us. So in some cases, you're not going to see the most up-to-date photos. In some cases, I really didn't have a lot to show, so I don't have some photos, but we'll give you everything that we have here. So starting with the Fairlawn View play structure. On the next slide. So this is the artist rendering of the play structure that we are building currently over at Fairlawn View. On the next slide, you can see some photos of the work being done. Next slide. Thank you. So you'll see some of the work. You'll see the new play box on the bottom there, some of the new sod that we had to plant around the play box because there was a elevation change that we were trying to address. You can see the paving in progress on the other part where they're finishing up the paving around the play box, and that's great. And we were so excited until we heard from Playworks that one of the major pieces of equipment that is a part of the playground was held up at the Canadian border. So, unfortunately, right now, all of that work has been completed, and we have the area enclosed. But the project is on hold, and we are not anticipating on receiving that additional playground equipment until late September. So as soon as we receive it, Playworks has promised that they will immediately be able to initiate the install. Our hope is to have everything done before La Nina or El Nino shows up to rain on everything. But the good news is that because we have the base done, all the drainage systems are in place. So we're ready for the rain. So that's good. Next slide, please. Here is Kings Mountain Elementary School. For those of you who haven't seen it before, this is entirely new asphalt for the entire intersection of the campus. We're really excited to do this because they definitely had some serious crumbling going on. What we've noticed as a common feature across all the paving that we're doing at all the school sites is that when paving has been done in the past, it is not clear that there was, in many cases, the proper rock that should be installed, a base rock that should be underneath that so that it's sturdy and doesn't collapse. And so we've been in the process of doing this. We're also remediating all the sites. And so hopefully what we're installing will last significantly longer than what was in place there. And what you're missing there with Kings Mountain is you'll notice all the lines are gone. We are working with Principal Jones, and we've got a collection of some stencils that we're looking at that actually tie into the PE curriculum. So we'll paint some games and things out there that the students can use and the teachers can use with the students when they're working on PE up at Kings Mountain. Next slide. So this is another one that was it was a frustration to us for sure. We had scheduled this particular project pretty tight. We were intending to start immediately after summer school finished at Hatch Elementary School and be completed before the start of school. And unfortunately, once again, we had another issue with steel being late. I was hopeful that delay in the materials would not slow the project down, but it did become a scheduling problem. And so unfortunately, we're looking at probably 2 to 3 more weeks before the shade structure will be completed at Hatch. But everything that has happened since then, and I have no pictures because it was really a picture of holes and forms, and that wasn't very interesting. We're really excited that this project is going to move along and be completed pretty quick. I must say that I worked with Principal Clinton to make sure that we had all the fire and safety. It's a little bit of a different situation. The playground at Farallon is sort of separate from the school site. This is right up against the back of the multipurpose building. And so we did take some extra steps to make sure that fire life safety was addressed for the students who are in those areas while construction is going on, and that the site is secure for while students are on campus. Next slide. And this is El Granada Elementary School, which is wrapping up, and I'm going to pass it over to Roger to talk a little bit about that, and you can pronounce her name.
Thank you, Drew. I'm Roger Inchar-Chahar with Vanner Construction Management, Senior Project Manager managing El Granada Phase 2. Dr. Miramontes, members of the board, and members of the Half Moon Bay community, thank you for having me tonight. And thank you for the opportunity to present the El Granada Phase 2 modernization project. Next slide, please. A little bit about the project. It's phase 2 of obviously there was a phase 1 before this. We completed the contractor, general contractor on the project's Rodan Builders. The architect was QKA, and our construction budget for the project was $19,420,305. The schedule is July 13th, 2025 through this December 31st, 2026. Status on the project, overall, Building A and K and the site work have been completed. Building A is a 11,600 square foot admin and classroom building. K is a 3,600 square foot building. And of course, the site work is the playground and all the surrounding area for the classrooms. Building B Building D, sorry, is also the library and houses 2 classrooms. That building is still underway and will be continuing through construction through November 24th, 2026. And substantial completion means we walk it with the architect and the inspector of record and make sure everything is signed off and ready for occupancy. And as soon as that walk happens, everything gets approved, furniture moves in, contents moves in, and we get ready for the new school year, and the teachers will be in their new classrooms. Next slide, please. A little bit of one last part of El Granada Phase 1 is the parking lot lights. A little hard to see in this slide, but 5 parking lot poles were installed partially over spring break, and the remaining portion of the work was done during the summer. The lights are on and activated and functioning as designed. And I think we were really happy to see that all functioning properly. I think it's brought a lot of safety to the area and will be a better environment for events to come this fall. Next slide, please. First project we completed was Building K. That's the TK and K classrooms. That was completed on April 10th, and the teachers are moved in from spring break all the way through the summer, and they're in there now and teaching the students this fall. Next slide, please. There we go. Building A renovation was completed this summer, July 10th. We had our substantial completion walk where we walk with the architects and the inspector of record and received approval then. All new furniture is moved in, and the principal, the administrative staff, and teachers are now in that building and teaching in that building, and it's up and running. Next slide, please. And here's another vantage point of the front of Building A, the admin/classroom building. We have new landscape in the front, new walkways, lighting, which was required for accessibility, and then also security fencing that now allows the campus to be fully secured when school starts, with the option of as needed on the weekends. Next slide, please. Building A renovation. This is the playground vantage point, also the south elevation of the building, and excuse me. This is from the playground view. New landscape, more accessibility needs met with handrails and whatnot due to just the needs from the state architect, but much improved, and everything seems to flow nicely. Next slide, please. Here's another view from Building A. This is the courtyard area between Building A, D, and the MU. This was a photo when the last portions of the work were happening 2 weeks ago. The grass, this was the finishing touches of the grass going down. That area is currently just brings a lot of natural space to the area, and then also will be closed off for another 4 weeks just to make sure that the grass is secured and can be warranted properly. But that will be opening up those delineators that we say will go away in 4 weeks. Next slide, please. Here's another view of the playground area. We added a TK and K play structure with synthetic turf around it, and then a lot of play features around it. There's new striping, tetherball courts, a ball wall in the background, and other mazes and hopscotch in the area that helps keep the students busy. Next slide, please. And then here's another view of the playground, the 2 new black basketball courts, new hoops, new supports, new striping, hopscotch. I believe the campus is extremely excited to have their campus back and have the kids have free reign of the site once again. Or the campus. Next slide, please. And then finally, this is a view of the multi-use room. We did do some what we call a refresh there. New paint to the ceilings, new paint to the walls. Improved some of the light switches, which had an archaic type light switches that required a key that wasn't always available. So we put regular light switches that can be locked, but yet easily accessed by an adult. So that was done. We added some new lighting in the restrooms. And then on the exterior, we painted the exterior, had the exterior painted. The roof was power washed. There was a new roof over the restrooms, which facilities completed. And then there was new signage. If you look closely, there's a big stainless steel lettering that says M on it, but basically it's wayfinding to make sure everyone knows where the MU, and we could see that same type of signage on all the new buildings, so it's easy to find them. And that concludes the presentation. Sorry.
Not the whole presentation.
Oh, no, for El Granada Phase 2. Thank you.
I got more stuff. All right. So I wanted to include this picture on the front because this is our first completed Half Moon Bay High School project. We got the new digital sign in, and I see that it's being used a lot. I hope that the students are finding it helpful and useful. But the really big stuff that we have been doing that's been really keeping us busy has to do with CAL FIRE, some other prep work, our leaseback contractor, RFQP, and I wanted to go over that with the group. So first of all, if we can go to the next slide. We went out and we met with CAL FIRE to discuss site access, and that is the principal start to all of the projects that we're going to be doing. The idea is that we would fix this and make sure that CAL FIRE is comfortable with the access to the site. And then after that, then we're doing the other projects. And so the first thing that they talked about is that they wanted to make sure that on the east side of the campus and the north side of what I'm calling the academic campus, and it's not that the baseball field isn't a learning opportunity, but I'm calling the academic campus the upper part. So both of those need to be widened to 20 feet. And so those are the two areas that they wanted the widening. Luckily, they didn't ask for us to do that on the west side of the upper academic campus because we do not have enough space between that building and the field and where the hillside falls off. And it's kind of hard to tell here because you can't see the elevation. But the compromise that we arrived at means that that little piece leading up to the football field has to be designated for emergency vehicle access. And so we're going to repaint that area. We're going to show it's emergency vehicle access. And what that just means is that the high school is going to not be able to use that for parking if they wanted to bring in special vehicles for a football game or something like that. Wouldn't be able to set up things like tents and things that would be there that even though they're not permanent, they would potentially be blocking emergency vehicles if they were trying to access that part of the campus. So they have accepted those changes, and we are going to be incorporating that into our DSA submissions as we move forward. Next slide. And this is just kind of the campus overall. Next slide. So we started back at the beginning of the summer before before school let out, this process of finding the contractor that would be doing the work on the campus for the 3 big projects that we've identified. And we're going to use a form of procurement called leaseback. And the purpose of doing that is that allows us to lock the contractor into a guaranteed maximum price for the project. Once we have established what that guaranteed maximum price is, then the advantage is if they are going over that price and the fault is in their court for having gone over it, then they're on the hook for paying that money. That doesn't come back to us. Now, if we make changes midway and we have a certain scope and then we say, okay, no, we're going to do something different, that's a little bit different. But that's really the way that the leaseback process works and why we're looking at doing that. If you can go to the next slide. And so what we did, first of all, is we put out an RFPQ. And the way that we have to put that out is we have to advertise it in a major newspaper of note. And then there are these organizations called builders exchanges that exist kind of around the area, and we list it on there as well to try and get the widest coverage for letting people know that we have these 3 projects and we're interested in first of all, finding qualified contractors, and then if they qualify to bid for the project, then we would be interested in getting their proposals. So the first thing we did is we put all of that information out, and we scheduled 2 meetings at the high school in June. And from that, we had those 2 meetings. Contractors came out. They were able to ask questions for the things that we were able to answer at that point. And at that point, they were making decisions on whether they could even submit a qualifying paper and qualify for their proposal. And what that qualification meant was, did they have experience doing projects of this size? What kinds of exposure to litigation have they had previously in their history? What are the lists of projects that they've done that are comparable to the types of projects that we're envisioning doing? Who, in some cases, especially because the pool is such a big overarching project for us, who are the subcontractor specialists that you would potentially envision working with as you're building this pool? After that process, and once we had received those documents, we then had interviews at the district office where we interviewed the contractors who were interested in participating in the process. The next part of the process is we would bring that forward. Well, I mean, there's some due diligence right now that we're doing. We have to have is my opinion that we should have that document in front of our lawyers before bringing it to you guys to make sure that the form of agreement is correct and accurate and in the favor, supports the needs and the interests of the district. And then we would bring that back for board approval. Now, the question kind of comes up. You see that step 5 in that process is the GMP is established. Well, why are we bringing them on when the GMP hasn't been established yet? Well, that's a really critical step, because having a contractor working with our architects to actually figure out the buildability of what the architects are saying that we should do is absolutely critical to make sure that we have an efficient, and you notice I'm not saying cheapest, but an efficient guaranteed maximum value for those projects. I think that is absolutely important, because we want a quality product at the end, and we want to make sure that we're not having a ton of amendments that are coming back to you guys where we're shifting that amount around because of some facet of the building that when it got into the hands of the contractor, they would be like, oh, I don't know how you're going to do this. We can have those conversations. We can have them going back and forth. And really have a really solid GMP at the end of the process. And so after we have the GMP and we bring that back to you guys, then that would be the following step after that would be actually executing the leases. And so if you go to the next slide, you can see where the timelines basically ran for this. So we started all the way back in June, got ourselves to the point where we did the interviews on August 7th, and our target for board approval would be for the next board meeting. And then following that approval, once we do a buildability review that is in front of our DSA submission, then at that point, we would negotiate that GMP and bring that back to you. And then the only other thing I just, and this was questions that came up regarding the pool right when we were completing our presentation for the Board of Education meeting. And a lot of questions were coming up in terms of the timing on everything and how long would it take to build a project such as this. And so the reality is we don't have a firm schedule for starting yet. And one of the things that is really important to establish that is that we have the lease contractor on board. So that's going to be very important. But we are imagining that the project would take around 14 months to complete. And so once we are, again, part of that process of establishing the guaranteed maximum price for the project, that's part of that would also be giving you guys a full schedule breakdown of everything and when it would happen and what those impacts would be. And then it's really at the discretion of the board how we do that. You know, do we adjust our schedule because we're trying to make sure that, for example, we don't go through another swim season, for the swimmers at the high school, where they're having to find an alternate location to do their swimming. Do we adjust it so that we're trying to avoid summertime so that we don't have 2 years of summers being interrupted? There's a lot of considerations that go into this. So it's in one slide. I'm moving quickly, but that's really the concerns that we will be looking at as we develop that schedule. And thank you very much. Roger and I could take your questions.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you so much. And before we move on to questions, I really have to commend you for the time you took this summer to update the board on every single thing. I mean, it's so important, and not only because it keeps us updated, but it also gives us kind of a notion of all that factors into building, renovating, and it's not just pay somebody, come here, do it, bing, bang, bada, boom. Like, there's a whole bunch of, like, the weather, the soil, the Canada border delay, so all of that is so important. And I really want to thank you for doing that for us. I feel so informed, and this just kind of solidifies what you've already been telling us and how you've been keeping us informed. And I want to say thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
With that, I'm going to open it up to my fellow board members for questions.
I just want to say thank you also. And I saw everyone working this summer, like the day the installation for the marquee was going in at the high school. I chose not to yell out and scare you, but I was like, oh, there he is. And then we got the update, it was just great. Like, not only were we receiving updates, like I could visually see everything that was getting done and being moving. And so also thank you so much.
Thank you.
I do want to thank you for the updates. They were very helpful. I just saw your latest email, and so I need to touch base with you about the July 31st update, because I don't know if I understood. I thought I did, but apparently I did not understand that one.
Okay.
But I appreciate you sending that information out. That's I think we asked for that, and you responded, so I really appreciate that.
It's always a balance between information and the quantity of content.
And I appreciate it. It's not unusual that I would not understand something. So you're doing fine, and we'll clarify it. Can you remind us of the size of the shade structure at Hatch?
40 by 40.
40 by 40. Got it. Okay. And then we had some conversations in the spring over the summer about Hatch improvements. I know we're still in conversation about that. I just wanted to encourage you to reach out to the Hatch school site parent council to make sure that we're letting them kind of know what our ideas are. And from the beginning, I've touched base with them just to let them know that there's something that potentially could happen, and they're interested in hearing more. So that's one. And then related to that, I remember when we were talking about Hatch initially that the restoration of the field wasn't done by the construction company at the time, and that we probably should hold that company to account, but it didn't happen. What are we doing in relation to that at El Granada? Are there things we're requiring that construction company to do before they leave, or how are we handling that?
Yes, I mean, yes. Obviously, there's I mean, for example, there are so for example, even though the project at Fairlawn View has now been, it's technically been closed only about a month. Yeah, about a month, but they've been but Core has been off that site for the course of a year, and we're still working with them for some fixes, some warranty issues, some things that just don't seem to work. So it's an ongoing process, and we'll definitely do the same thing with Rodan. Do you want to add anything to that?
Well, in the case of Fairlawn View, we just had an 11-month warranty walk where they walk it before things expire, and so we generated a list of additional things they need to take care of before it all expires, and they have that list, and they're still working on other things that are not even on the list. So there is certainly follow up and making sure that they follow through.
Great. I just don't want that to fall through the cracks. And then Roger, any complaints about the lights? Yeah. All right. Good job.
Well, early on, there was some timing troubleshooting that we worked through. On August 13th, our parking lot lights came on as programmed, but the bollards had some issues, but we have subsequently worked through. So
happy to hear it.
Yeah. So
I think we were out. Drew invited me out 8:30 last Tuesday night. If you're not doing anything at 7:30,
Thursday
come out.
night.
Thursday night. If you're not doing anything at 7:30, come on out. We're gonna have a little lighting show, and so we were out there, 4 or 5 of us.
Yeah.
Just to watch the lights come on and watch the lights turn off.
All right. Very happy.
It was one of the most exciting nights out I've had in weeks.
And I do want to thank the board. We didn't have a Drew in the role. We had the superintendent and we had the CBO sitting at these meetings, and you can't do both.
Yeah.
Right. Same thing with student service. You can't do both. So having Drew paying, it comes out of the bond, but we're getting our money's worth. We're being transparent with the community. We're making sure that our tax dollars that come to us in a bond, we're using them efficiently. You know, we live on the coast. We're going to need to keep going out to the community, right? And so I want to make sure, and these guys have been a dynamic duo since Drew's come on board. Not that Roger, you need a two to make a dynamic duo, right? So since Drew's come on board, I have felt really confident. For those of you that don't know, I put out a Monday memo since I've been here. The board gets a Monday memo on everything from business services to HR to ed services. My cabinet give updates to the board of things that are coming down the pike, things that are happening, so that they're well aware of things well in advance. This summer, we don't do things for ed services or business, with the exception of Drew. And Drew got really detailed, a lot more than before, because there was a lot of things. There were multiple things running at the same time. So Drew, I do want to compliment you and Roger. Thank you for supporting us as well. Granada looks beautiful, and so does Fairlawn View. So great job, guys.
Then just a couple more questions. Appreciate the information on the fire lanes stuff. Was that something that we knew was potentially going to be an issue, or is that something that as we started to develop the project, it was like, oh, wait, we got to get this? I'm just curious.
A little bit of both.
Okay.
But I think one of the important learning lessons coming through a lot of these projects is, whenever we can, because I know that they came out and walked with Roger sometimes, and just getting them out to the campus and just kind of, even if it's not a formal inspection walk or something like that, say, hey, we're imagining doing this. how does this how does this affect you guys? And I think that's really important. One of the other, because again, wearing multiple hats, one of the things that'll come forward with the school safety plans in October is this collaboration with CAL FIRE on our facilities and what's available, and obviously with the legislation related to wildfires and wildfire preparedness. That's just a huge issue and a huge concern for them. It's a safety issue for our students. It's a safety issue for our firefighters, and so we really want to keep building that collaboration. So it was really kind of trying to be proactive in that.
I want to thank you for the explanation of the lease back. Thank you.
Yes.
I'm just curious. So the way that you explained that this in this presentation, it made me wonder. There are other models we could have gone with.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You can do a whole project on a program called Design Bid Build, which is the architect is just designing away and they come up with a project, and then you just say, here's the project, bid it, and then you take the lowest responsive bidder. But you don't have that cap, that protection from the guaranteed maximum price. I mean, but there are some projects where that's the playground was done through that model. So it's a smaller, simpler project. Another one, Prime, is another one that is not something that we would ever consider doing. It's really meant for very large school districts that have enough projects and enough funding going that they can operate a fully built out, essentially construction company within the school district. So that's not for us. And there's a couple of other smaller ones that are in there. But when I was at Redondo Beach, we never did a major school project that wasn't lease back. And Fairlawn was lease back. Granada was lease back.
Got it.
Yeah.
So then that actually begs a second question, because there was a couple times where we had to go back and approve more funding for some of the projects at Fairlawn View and El Granada. That could still happen for the high school.
Well, yes, but one of the things that we're trying to do, again, by bringing that lease contractor in early and having those conversations, and I feel like one of the things, I think one of the important perspectives that I can provide in those types of discussions is having been a principal and a director for various programs. I can see some of these problems. Like I can see them through the lens of being an administrator, but then I can also see them through the lens of the business work that I've done. So I think being able to look at that. And just understand, like, for example, Building G is should be a very straightforward building. And that's what we're taking our architects in the direction of. Needs to be a rectangle, needs to have good classrooms, they need to be well ventilated, they need to have fire life safety, they need to be good, right-sized classrooms to support student learning, and they need to be done in such a way that teachers feel that they can be the most effective that they can when they walk into a classroom. We have meetings that we're scheduling for August 31st up at the high school. We'll go over all of this with the teachers. We haven't talked for our coffee, but we'll get it going. So, I think that input and coming at it from an educator's lens is really critical.
Great. Last question. How did the interviews go? I guess that was last week or it was 2 weeks ago now.
August 7th.
Yeah. How'd that go? And then do we have finalists?
They went, I thought, great. I was really excited and Jennifer and Ramon were also scoring the process. So we score sheets. And I'm very happy with where things landed. I can't really go into much more detail yet. We're still doing our due diligence. But as soon as that process is completed, we'll update you on a Monday memo, and then we will have information.
So you anticipate we might have the names by Monday?
Yeah, a Monday memo. Yeah, not that, probably not this Monday memo.
Okay.
Again, we still need, I also don't, I don't want to rush legal. I
Yeah.
want them to take their time, make sure. Yeah,
Thank you, guys. I appreciate your work.
thank you.
If anyone, no more questions, looks like we're gonna move on to the next item. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For everything. Thank you, gentlemen. Next is item 3B, public and the public hearing and adoption of resolution 10-2026 regarding sufficiency of instructional materials for the 2026-27 school year. Dr. Miramontes?
Thank you. Pursuant to the California Education Code, Section 6119, the governing board must annually determine whether all students, including English learners, have sufficient standards-aligned instructional materials. The district has reviewed instructional material inventories and confirmed that the required core materials have been ordered and are available for the 2026-27 school year. A limited number of materials are on back order due to vendor delays and are expected to arrive shortly.
Thank you, Dr. Miramontes. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second.
I'll take Carmen. Thank you.
And now we're going to open it up to public hearing. And there are no public comments on this, so we're going to open it up for discussion before we vote. And done. It's open and it's closed. Public hearing, yes, public hearing, done. And board discussion? No, good. Now we're gonna move on to what,
Roll call vote.
just kidding, we vote now. Sorry.
Lisette,
Aye.
Pete,
Aye.
Brianna,
Aye.
Carmen,
Aye.
Mary Beth,
Aye.
passes 5-0.
Okay, nice. Now we are moving on to item 4, public comments and non-negotiation on consent items. We will now open the public comment period of non-negotiation consent items. The board is committed to maintaining and respectful and productive environment that fosters a cultivating and cultivate or civilly where the staff, the community, and the board feel safe to express themselves and free from bullying, harassment, and threats. The board welcomes your comments and requests that you express yourself accordingly. All members wishing to speak should complete a comment card and hand it to the executive assistant to the superintendent prior to the introduction of the item. Members wishing to address the board are allotted 3 minutes per speaker, but this may be reduced depending on the number of speakers for item. The total time for public comment shall not exceed 20 minutes. Please note that the speaking time cannot be delegated to another person. As a reminder, the CUSD governing board does not act upon non-agendized matters except under limited circumstances as permitted by law. Matters raised during public comment will be referred to the staff and further examination action where appropriate. And with that, I really want to thank you guys for being so patient and for being here. And I think I also, I hope this was not such a bad long wait, so you know what we as the board do for the district and the community, since maybe some of you, maybe some of you don't have any children, or I'm wrong, but maybe I'm being ignorant saying this, but I think it's really important that our community, everybody, even parents and non-parents, are informed of what's going on. And even though it was a long wait, I'm happy that you're here, and I hope you are satisfied with what you see us doing for the schools and the community. So thank you for your patience. And with further ado, I would like to introduce Bruce Ives.
Thank you. Madam President, members of the board, Superintendent Miramanis, good evening. My name is Bruce Ives. I'm a resident of El Granada, and as a former school board member in another district, I do appreciate what you do very much. And I am a member of the Coastside Pickleball Club Board of Directors. I'm here on behalf of the club and its 100-plus members, many of whom are here this evening. You can recognize us all by our paddles, which we take everywhere. And we just want to say a 1-minute thank you to the district, to the board, to the superintendent and the chief business officer, and your staff and our wonderful partners at the Boys and Girls Club for the great collaboration we've had during the tennis and pickleball renovation project at Cunha. Your partnership has created new opportunities to support healthy kids and active adults on the coast side. It permits exciting new developments, which you'll hear more about from other community members in a moment. Suffice it to say that the impact is huge. For now, just please accept our gratitude for all that you've done to promote healthy activity in a secure environment. We look forward to finalizing our MOU with the district and to deepening our partnership with CUSD and with the Boys and Girls Club. And with that, we'll see you on the court. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much. And like I said, thank you for being here and for your patience. Next is Rox Weiss. Oh, Ron Weiss. Were you a math teacher? You were my math teacher, Mr. Weiss. Oh my God.
I need to take you to coffee. I need to take you to coffee to talk about.
Okay.
Oh my God. I'm so happy to see you.
Nice to see you.
I went all the way up to statistics and then I was
Wow.
done with math. So thank you.
It's good to see everybody. My name is Ron Weiss, and I am a retired teacher starting at this district. And I live in Half Moon Bay. And I am a member of the Coastside Pickleball Club. But I'm also a member of the Coastside Tennis Association. So I'm doing both. It's a little complicated. What I really want to talk to you about tonight is more about the CTA, the Coastside Tennis Association relationship with the district. It's a very special relationship. It's been going on for a couple of decades, actually. And so I want to start out by thanking Dr. Miramontes and board members really for allowing the tennis community to use the facilities during school hours. We really appreciate that. There's a lot of people in this room who may not understand this relationship that we have with the school district. Again, I'm talking tennis for right now, but let me just quickly explain what we have in case someone here doesn't understand. The Coastside Tennis Association is charged with maintaining the high school courts, meaning repairing the nets. We're also in charge with cleaning up the weeds and the brush around the courts. And we have a special relationship. And so I'm going to say that, we have, if you go up to the high school at any time, you're going to see kind of an amazing thing. You're going to see beautiful courts. You're going to see a relationship between our board president, Margie Gator, and our CTA liaison, Terry Sullivan, who regularly communicates with the athletic director and other staff. And it's really an amazing partnership. And so I guess what I want to say here today is that we share expenses for the big projects. We consult and communicate all the time. And it's really a beautiful thing. And I will say that we get a lot of comments from people all over the Bay Area that basically say that the Half Moon Bay High School tennis courts are some of the best public courts in the entire peninsula. So it's really special. And so I guess what I wanted to say to end is that the pickleball, now that pickleball has come to town, we really look forward to having a very similar relationship with the school district. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Weiss. It was great to see you. I'm going to start, if I get to look like you and I get older, I'm going to start doing pickleball. Thank you for coming. Next person is Kate and Mimi. The duo. Welcome, ladies.
Good evening. My name is Kate Livingston. I am a retired teacher from the school district and a community member.
Mimi Pasternak, also a retired teacher in the school district.
I was personally involved in the creation of the pickleball courts back in 2016, working with the superintendent, the Cunha School Principal and Parks and Rec, we established an arrangement that allowed pickleball players key code access to Court 1 during school hours. That access continued until COVID shut the courts to the public, and unfortunately, it was never restored. Seeing the courts reopen and the improvements that have been made this summer has been a wonderful thing. Pickleball gives seniors like us an opportunity not only to exercise and maintain our health, but also to connect with friends and to be part of our community. You want to do that?
It's great to see the school board and community organizers work together, and a reminder of what a wonderful place the Coastside is.
Thank you.
Ladies, thank you so much, and it's always a pleasure to see you. Appreciate your time and being here. Thank you. Next, we will have Mark Newton. Come on up.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having us here this evening. I want to say a huge thank you to our school board. My daughter's been back there for almost 2 hours, mostly reading a book and then playing chess on my phone, which I think she's going to beat me pretty soon. But we got to go. This is just a moment of gratitude, and what a huge success this is for the Half Moon Bay community. And Rick Southern and Dave Houston, a huge thank you to you two in particular, and the whole Coastside Pickleball family, I think we can call it now. What you did was absolutely remarkable. Not only your energy, your intestinal fortitude, I would call it, and your resources have been remarkable. We're really excited at BGCC Cunha Athletics for the kids to use those courts. PE teachers are excited, Tim Lugo, the school's excited, and we're really, really grateful. And this happened because Dr. Miramontes and this amazing person, Jennifer Marsh, allowed it to happen. And so a huge thank you to you two for doing that. There's a lot that they have to take in when facilities are being used on campus. There's a ton of things that they have to consider. So kudos to you two for making that happen and for allowing these amazing people to have fun and to stay young. I have a little informative gift for all 7 of you that I'm going to leave for you. And then I got to get this kid some food and
Rosie will take it.
all right.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Thank you
All
for
right,
being
see you
here.
on the courts.
We
got stuff
will.
going on this weekend, so come on by.
Yes, I have it in my calendar. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Next is Dave Powell.
I'm also a retired teacher, and I want to embellish that a little bit. Part of my teaching, one of my favorite homework problems was the undergraduate dynamics class that dealt with the motion of a tennis ball during a serve. I've played tennis since I was in middle school, and I'm also a 20-year member of the Coastside Tennis Club here in Half Moon Bay. However, I've graduated from tennis to pickleball. And for the last year, I've been doing this stuff. There's a whole bunch going on at Cunha this weekend, and I want to go through those details for you. Starting tomorrow, we'll be celebrating the newly renovated tennis and pickleball courts at Cunha with a full weekend of activities. Friday, after school, that's tomorrow, is about the Cunha community, introducing students and their parents to pickleball with instruction, open play, prizes, and even some friendly competition among the teachers and administrators. Saturday, the community-wide ribbon-cutting celebration at 11 a.m., and there'll be representatives from you folks, the Boys and Girls Club, the City of Half Moon Bay, and our community will all be joining to officially celebrate the newly reconditioned courts. On Sunday, we'll wrap up the weekend with a tournament featuring more than 55 players. We hope all of you will come out and join the activities. My last thought is to share is that there have been families with 4-year-old kids playing pickleball on the courts. And I've been playing, and I'm 88. I think this shows that tennis and pickleball are games for everyone through a good hunk of their lives. I want to thank you very much for helping provide the facilities for the community, and we look forward to seeing you at this week's activities. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. What an inspiration. Thank you. And then following Mr. Powell is Rick Southern.
Hi. It's been a long night. Thank you very much for your time. And I've served on boards before and committees, and I know there's a lot of problems and a lot of issues. So there's not in the next 2 minutes, so you can all relax. My name is Rick Southern. I live in Half Moon Bay. I'm president of Coastside Pickleball. And I wanted to tell you who we are. You've already seen the professor at Stanford who's 88 years old, 88 years young. A couple of teachers. We have families. We have family membership, so some of the families have kids. I believe Miss LaFontaine is going to be out with her daughters at Cunha, son and daughter, tomorrow. My daughter went through the school system. She was in the band with Mr. Barnes, and she had the English teacher that just spoke with Mr. Barnes as her English teacher. Mr. Boysen, she's starting her 3rd year in a PhD math program in theoretical math at UC San Diego. So we are really closely connected with the school. And I guess that's my point. Who we are, we're parents, we're people that went through the school system, we're former teachers, and so we're not just pickleball players, but we're people that have a really strong connection to the schools and a desire to see the kids achieved. We thanked the school and the Boys and Girls Club because for 4 or 5 years we were trying to get access to the courts and we never could until we had new leadership. And it was the leadership with Dr. Miramanis and Mark Newton that opened the door to give us a foothold. And in that short period of time, we spent $70,000 improving the courts. We really have a destination place now for people to come to. That's where we are today. Where we want to go is we want to finish an MOU with the district, and we want to be responsible, just like CTA, for maintaining the courts, for improving the courts, for instructing the kids, working with the PE departments, and working with the Boys and Girls Club. We'll see you this weekend, and thank you very, very much for the time tonight.
Thank you. On the contrary, thank you everybody for being so patient and just staying with us. Appreciate your time tremendously, and you guys are all an inspiration to me and personally. So thank you so much. And one quick question: can I be late tomorrow? Because I know it starts at 3:30, but I have a parent conference. Can I be like a little bit after 3:30 or? No, you can't.
No. Absolutely, but we appreciate anybody that comes out.
Of course. Of course, and I'm excited to be involved in. I have no idea what pickleball is, but I'm so excited, and
So make sure when she's paired up with somebody, it's not the John McEnroe of pickleball, okay?
I'm so excited. You guys are so this is an inspiration for me. I thought there was no sport out there for me, and thank you. I appreciate you guys.
If you want to learn a little bit,
yes, 100%. That's what I'm. Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for your time. Everybody have a good night. Thank you all. I'm gonna break to a recess, I guess. Yeah. No? Oh, no, or that just. Oh, okay. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. Okay, moving on. Next, we have what is this? Item 4B, employee organization reports, and we are going to start with our CUTA representative, Cabrillo Unified Teachers Association. Do we have, hello, young man. Welcome back, welcome back.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
It's very good to be back. I really appreciate all the pickleball players kept dropping CTA in there, which is California Teachers Association in my mind, and I'm like, God love you. Okay, so we are for CUTA. We're happy to be back at work. We're happy to be doing what we love so much. School year started with professional development around student connections and student engagement. And, it's kind of interesting. As we were sitting in the room, there were several of us that were like, oh, I do that. Oh, I do that. And it's just, to start the year with those kinds of reminders of what makes us effective and so on. We're going to be very active over the next couple of months. CUTA will be involved here on the coast in trying to get the word out there about Proposition 3. Proposition 3 is a renewal of an existing tax. It's not a new tax. San Mateo County, if the tax is not renewed, San Mateo County could stand to lose approximately $36 million in funding. And statewide, it's estimated that 1 of 6 teachers could possibly lose their jobs. So CUTA will be very active in getting the word out about this important legislation. Okay, looking over the board agenda for today, I know it hasn't come up just yet, but we love the agreement with proposed agreement with San Francisco State University for student teachers. Hopefully we bring them in, and what happens with them is what happened with me, is start working here and just fall in love with the place and stick around for now 29 years. So hopefully we can bring them in and keep them. We also appreciate that the TOSA for to work with the new math curriculum. I think that's a great idea. Shout out Deanna Tower, who's a former math teacher, longtime math teacher. It kind of illustrates how important it is to get the teacher's perspectives on things, both in a leadership role and just opening up and getting that kind of feedback. And we were also very encouraged by the reports of the district, recruiting special education teachers and paraeducators to the district. It's really a very important resource, not only for the students, but also for us teachers. We work very closely together to give the best that we can to the students. So thank you very much. Good job.
Thank you so much, and welcome to another school year. Thank you. You look good. You look like you had a good summer, so I'm excited. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Next is our CSEA representative for Cabrillo School Employees Association. Anybody here? Okay. Nobody here. I will then move on to item 5, consent agenda. Items listed on the consent agenda are of routine nature and are not anticipated for board discussion. The superintendent recommends their approval. If any board member requests the removal of an item from the consent agenda, it shall be taken off and individually considered as a regular agenda item. The consent agenda requires a motion, a second, and approval by a roll call of each. Each item approved by the governing board on the consent agenda is considered in full and adopted as recommended. May I have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, Carmen? Now we need to do roll call. Lisette?
Aye.
Pete?
Aye.
Brianna?
Aye.
Carmen?
Aye.
Mary Beth?
Aye.
Passes 5-0.
Thank you. Now we're moving on to agenda item 6, governing board reports. And I will leave it to any of my fellow members who'd like to start.
Sure. So jumping right back into the school year, last night I went to Hatch's back to school night, which it was great. It's not a school that my kids attended, so I love being able to see what is going on in person and talking with families and teachers and staff. And so it was a great night. I thought everyone did a fabulous job, and it was great seeing, it's TKers can be so young now. They are teeny tiny. They're just little people, and it's so cute. And so it was just, I know there's I did have a TKer, and there can be a lot of anxiety around that. And I thought Mr. Clinton is handling it very well, and the teachers that were there. I also went, I didn't want to say anything, Drew's already and Roger are gone because I saw we had a lot of people, but I did get a tour of El Granada Elementary. Highly recommend. It's gorgeous. There's still one more building, as you know, but as someone who spent every day on the campus for almost 8 years, it was phenomenal. It's just such a great job. I got to see recess in play, walk of the new classrooms, the green space, the courtyard. It's just fabulous. So good. No notes. And then this weekend, as I say, I will be. Well, now I feel a little pressure. I did not tell my children they had to attend tomorrow afternoon. So we'll see if my kids show up. I know. I'm going to let them know. My kids love pickleball. But I have 2 at Cunha now, and they are loving their freedom being middle schoolers and their after school friend time. But we'll see. I am going to be at the ribbon cutting ceremony on Saturday. I am a fan of pickleball. And then next week we have more back to school nights. 3, La Costa Adult School, Half Moon Bay High School, 4, Fairlawn View, and El Granada. 3 of them are on the same evening. Cunha's the following week. I don't have one on my calendar for Kings Mountain, so I don't know if they have one, but if anyone wants to show me around up there this year, I'm very open to it. And those are my notes.
Thank you. I do have to say something about Kings Mountain. I was up there and it was amazing. Like I walked in the campus, and when we were there, the trees were like I could just sit there and just stay there for the whole evening. So just so you know, when you do go, you're in for a treat. It's a really nice campus. Anyone next? Carmen, would you like to?
I'm going to be very brief. Welcome back, everybody. It's really great to see all the wonderful faces. We had a nice break, but it's good to be back. And thank you, staff, and all the people who made the fall happen. So my kids are excited. I've got 1 middle schooler and 2 high schoolers now. One of those parents. I just want to say I hope everyone had a good summer. I feel a lot of energy happening this year, so and a lot of positive thoughts going on, and it just feels invigorating around here. So I think everybody's really going to get into it, and hopefully this will be a great year. And as always, I'm open to talking with people or comments or any ideas you might have, so feel free to reach out anytime. Thank you.
I want to thank Jennifer and Ramon for working with the pickleball people. And I know they're gone, but I also want to just take a moment to thank Rick and Mark and Dave for the work that they did. I used to teach a class at Stanford on essentially it was like how to engage effectively in civic engagement, how to improve your community. And we would do these case studies, and one of the case studies was how to put a stop sign in your neighborhood. And so it was an idea of, identifying a problem, identifying people who agree, educating people on what the problem is and then looking for solutions, working with your community, so on and so forth. But I think now, I don't teach that class anymore, but if I did, I think I would switch it to pickleball because it is a real inspiration how all this came together. And it's like the right way to do it. And so, yeah, it's great. It's going to be great for our community. I was at the back to school night at Hatch. My two girls go to school there. And I just want to thank Jeff and his faculty and staff. I thought it was a great success, and thank Dr. Maramatis for being there. Quick story. There's a young man that I became aware of at Hatch who came to the school late. He did not speak any English. We don't know his background, but had not had much education when he came into Hatch. And so I checked in with one of the teachers who had been working with him just to see how he was doing because he had had a rough experience. And she told me, I kind of get emotional when I talk about it, that just this week he spoke his first sentence in English. So it was great. And I think about him when we advocate for our schools because my kids are going to be fine. They're going to get the education they need, but I think about this young man. This is why we do this work. So, excuse me. And then just a notice to the public. You may have been aware from tonight's meeting and other things that are going on. We are getting to the nitty-gritty of the high school rebuild. So please express your opinion. Send us emails. Send Dr. Maramatis emails. Show up to the opportunities that we have to express what you want. This is a once in a multi-generation opportunity to rebuild the high school, and so we want to make sure that we do it right. We make good decisions. We get everybody's input. You don't want to think 3 years down the line, I wish I had said X, Y, and Z. Now is the time to say it. So I encourage you to do that. Quick thank you to Jennifer. I must have gotten 6 comments this summer about the paint job at the schools. And so those little things make a big difference. And so I know that you were instrumental in trying to find those funds. So thank you for that. And then a special thank you to Drew. The work he did over the summer was great. I had asked for more information and he gave me more information, and I really appreciate that he responded to that. And I look forward to working with him closely in the coming years, I guess, on this project. Thank you.
I had the pleasure to be with, there's not much to share. I don't even feel like I had a summer, but I had a pleasure to be there and for the first day of school. And I don't have a child at Hatch. I was a Hatch student many moons ago. And I just have to say, I was so proud of myself because I thought, well, how helpful can I be? And I did find something. And I saw PTO had this great photo booth opportunity set up for all the kids. It was amazing. I was like, why didn't they have this 50 years ago when I came here? And it was just beautiful. But I was a little worried because the line was extremely long and no one was really like ushering and kind of making sure people are being your picture next. And I took it upon myself to do that. And I had some parents thank me and I'm like, yes, I was useful for something. So if there's ever, any event or anything, if needed to just even tell people, okay, next person, please, more than welcome to ask me to do little things like that. Cause I felt really great and it felt really amazing. And I was asked if I wanted a drink and I didn't. I said, I'm not really trying to get regular coffee. I just had regular coffee. They actually served chai. Yeah. Ramen's chai. I was like, oh my God. I almost wish why didn't I come with my mug? It was amazing. So things are getting better and better, and it's to the parents, the parents who are there to support their students and all the students that go to the school. So thank you so much. I just had, I couldn't go to others, but I did end up going to Kings Mountain, and they also had a similar photo booth setup. So I think it was something that was done for the elementaries. At least that's what I saw. But you guys are amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And that is it for me. Next, we're gonna move on to superintendent report.
Yeah, I'm just going to read a quick statement here. First of all, I want to welcome back our students and family members. I've been at all our campuses and look forward to visiting classrooms starting in September. Brianna, I'll take you up to Kings Mountain. It's beautiful. Each day we receive, I just also want to make sure that the board knows, that I mentioned this earlier, that each day we receive student enrollment numbers from all our schools. It looks like our projections were nearly right on target, so I want to compliment Leah and Jennifer, who work with the demographers and looking at rolling things up. At Happy Way High School, we projected 795 students, and we have 781 students that have attended. Now, we may get some stragglers coming in, but, so that's probably the biggest difference. At Cunha, we projected 505 students, and we have 498 students attend school. Kings Mountain projected 48, and we have 47 students. Fairlawn, we projected 220, and we have 225 students. El Granada projected 353, and we have 350 students. And this includes special ed as well. Hatch projected 562, and they're at 559 students. And Piedras is right on point, 31, and they projected 31. I do want to say one last thing before I am going to ask our senior HR director to come up, but before she comes up, I have one last thing to say. I just want to thank our classified staff, teachers, and site administrators for getting us off to a great start. So, John, thank you. I thank our site administrators. I keep checking with them through text and try and visit the school sites. And I'd also like to thank our parents for trusting us with your children. I take the safety and wellness of our students to the highest regard. Your children are like my children, and that's where we have to start. And I do want to bring up and have our senior, because, I know that there were some posts put out there, right, that people don't take action. Well, I want to make sure everybody knows that you hear something, you see something, you say something to a trusted adult, right? We take that I take it very seriously. And I know when Leah came up and we had this discussion and our whole cabinet was there, we want to make sure we protect students first and foremost. We protect our employees first and foremost as well. And we protect our community. And only, as you mentioned, a village, right? People say, we all knew something, right? And so whether we knew it or not, I'm not going to get into that. What I'm going to say is, if there was a culture of we knew it, that's gone. Moving forward, just like this past week, we hear something, we say something, we do something. We will take action. Leah, would you mind reading that statement? Yeah. Thank you.
Again, I'm Leah Furrow, the Senior Human Resource Administrator. The district is aware of serious personnel matter related to a criminal investigation. Oh, I'm so sorry. The district is aware of a serious personnel matter related to a criminal investigation involving a district employee. Because this involves both confidential matters and an active criminal investigation, we cannot comment on the specific allegations or details. We recognize that this has caused great concern within our community, and we want to assure our students, families, and staff that we take this matter extremely seriously. While we cannot speak to decisions or actions taken by prior administrations, we can speak on our responsibility today. The safety and well-being of our students and our employees remains our highest priority, and we are taking action. The district does have established procedures, protocols for receiving, reporting, and responding to complaints and concerns, which is governed by board policy, administrative regulations, and applicable state and federal laws. We are reinforcing these established requirements with all staff, including mandated reporter requirements, to ensure everyone understands their shared role and responsibility to protect the safety and well-being of our students. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you for doing that, because even though it's an ongoing investigation, we also have to name the elephant in the room, and thank you for taking your time to do that. So thank you. Moving on, we will be convening for closed session, and I want to thank everybody for being here before we convey to closed session.